What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at a team that I went 24-1 with. I've only had one loss with this team. did all 5 sets of the day, and that is Jumpluff, Dunsparce, and Shadow for Alligator. I'm going to go a little bit quickly into how I built the team, and then how it squares up against the meta and the PB Poke meta, and then we'll get right into the battles. So first up, we're looking at Jumpluff. Jumpluff is grass and flying, which means it has 5 weaknesses in ice, fire, flying, poison, and rock. So right away, we're looking at a rock type offensively, because rock can hit ice for super effective damage, it can hit fire for super effective damage, it can hit flying for super effective damage, it resists poison type damage, and it's neutral against other rock types. So rock right away is really good. Now the best rock fast type user in this meta is Dunsparce with rollout and rock slide, and it has that drill run super effective coverage against steals, which Jumpluff can't hit. So right away, Dunsparce makes great sense. It's also only got one weakness in fighting, and Jumpluff resists fighting damage. So a great core between the two. Then we've got Shadow for Alligator in the back. Why? Ice is resisted on water types. Water resists fire as well. It can hit super effective damage with Ice Beam on flying types. It's neutral against poison, and it hits super effective against rock with the Hydro Cannons. So a great core between all 3 Pokemon. And Shadow for Alligator just has so much neutral play, including against the steals that Jumpluff can't hit. Barring Empoleon, which isn't really seeing a whole lot of play because of the Steel Wing nerf, and Metal Claw isn't too great. But yeah, so this is how the team squares up against the meta. You'll see that Jumpluff has a lot of great matchups, but in the matchups that it's not as strong against, either Dunsparce or Feraligatr picks up those losses. There isn't one Pokemon in the top meta that breaks all 3. So let's get right into the battles. First up, we got Marowak. That is a great lead. Mud Slap is resisted, but they are staying in here, which means they're likely core broken by the Jumpluff. So I'm going to get off an Energy Ball right away. They're obviously going to shield this because they are core broken, and they are farming up. I can survive a Rock Slide very comfortably here. It's nerfed. It's non-stab. It's only going to do about 50%, and I'm still going to outpace. This should only be enough for a Bone Club. So they're just trying to get off the damage that they can, but that just lets me farm up even more, and now I'm going to go for the Energy Ball to take them out. They double shield, so now they're down 2 shields, and I'm going to win switch. So whatever is weak to this Jumpluff in the back is not going to see it. And they just resign the match. Yeah, so that opponent was just very easily core broken by the Jumpluff, so that was a very easy win. Another positive lead, we've got super effective Fairy Winds, which were just buffed. They come in with Clodsire. We're a little slow on the switch, but we come in with Feraligatr, and we CMP tie them, it looks like on the Stone Edge. We can survive a Stone Edge here, and they are not going to be able to farm us down before we get to another Hydro, potentially 2 more. That doesn't mean we won't CMP them on the next Stone Edge. So they'll probably let this go. And then are they going to come back in with their lead? As you'll notice, the switch timer is already back up. But yep, they just come back in with their lead. We go home and Jumpluff, and they have a Talonflame in the back. So this is kind of a triple hard counter team. We had a feeling they were going to try and CMP tie us there, so we actually end up just going for the extra rollout. I was a little bit wary of a Brave Bird, so I did shield the first. We're throwing on good timing there, 3 rollouts to their 2 Incinerates. And at this point, I'm just going to double shield because I can still farm this all the way down and get chip damage onto that Dragonair in the lead. And that Dragonair is not going to have a good time when we have double Drill Run and a very bulky Jumpluff that they can only throw body slams at. So this should grab the final shield, and then all we have is the Fairy Wind to the Aerial Ace, and this will take them out. Obviously, there's the conversation about Aerial Ace versus Acrobatics. I've always liked Aerial Ace just for the pacing. You'll notice I am running the non-shadow Jumpluff. Bad lead here, by the way. This is a matchup. This is actually kind of a core breaker to our team, but they don't even farm up to the energy ball, I believe. So we very comfortably live that. And then they come in with Swampert. And the reason we didn't come in Dunsparce there was because it was our harder answer, like our hardest answer to the Abomasnow. But they actually look like they're going to let us flip switch, which is huge, because then we can align our Dunsparce onto the... Ooh, maybe not. They've got a Typhlosion in the back. We cannot put our Jumpluff on that. So it looks like we're just going to need energy on our Jumpluff. And I wasn't sure if I would survive this Incinerate, so I just threw one Shadow Claw and the Hydro. It looks like we did, so we could have gone the two there. But now we're going to come in Dunsparce. Dunsparce is kind of our win con, so I'm surprised I'm not shielding this. It is a non-shadow, so I can survive this pretty comfortably. This one I probably will shield, unless I think I'm going to go two shield. Yeah, I was going to say. So I shield that. They come in at Abomasnow, which is actually huge. And then we're going to come in with a Jumpluff, try and get that Fairy Wind down. We know one Weather Ball won't take us out. It is double super effective, but Weather Ball is not like a super hard hitting move, and that does a lot of damage, leaves us on 1 HP. We get off the one Fairy Wind plus the Aerial Ace, just trying to maximize our damage here. And actually live on 1 HP, but they did not have the move yet. 3 versus 5 turn move there, we just barely take the win. So it's a very close matchup. Wigglytuff on the lead. This is kind of a slow matchup. I usually like to be here, but I think I full send the Energy Ball because they often shield because they like to get that Icy Wind off. But this one actually doesn't shield, so that's huge. And we get the Defense Fall. And I think we can make it to an Aerial Ace before they even make it to an Icy Wind, their first Icy Wind. So that is big for us. We do grab the shield. So now we're comfortable just staying in because we're just going to shield this. And then we can either reset the debuff or just go for the farm down here. And they come in with Frostlass. I panic a little bit, and I just go for the Aerial Ace, but I should have just come in Dunsparce because that is a great matchup for Dunsparce. But yeah, as I was kind of saying, the reason we're running the non-shadow is, one, I don't have the shadow built, but two, a non-shadow Feraligatr against a non-shadow Jumpluff, if they land the Ice Beam, like at the beginning of a match, after just like there's 7 Shadow Claws, you actually live it, whereas the Shadow does not, which can be a pretty decisive factor in some games. But they're actually running double Ice in the back, so this Dunsparce is putting in work. And Feraligatr also has a good matchup against Dewgong, surprisingly. This one I just switched into Jumpluff because I wanted to force them to throw instead of farming me down. I guess I had no plans for it. And now we've got one shield for Alligator against the Dewgong and the Wiggly, and an ability to reset the Icy Wind debuff. I know they're going to Icy Wind here, so I may not even shield this. Yeah, I don't, which is kind of a scary move there, but they get off the Icy Wind. I am throwing a Hydro because it looks like after the Shadow Claws that a Hydro will potentially take out 1 HP, but we got the farm down. Oh, and the Wiggly's already gone, yeah. So we take that win. Didn't even need to reset the debuff. Bastiodon. Okay, people are still running this Pokemon. We come in with the Feraligatr here. Maybe should have come in with the Dunsparce. With the double super effective drill runs. Could have been a little bit better. They would have come in probably with Greninja either way. Obviously the Greninja is a counter swap for the Feraligatr. But they cannot take me out with one Hydro, and I'm going to get to a second one here. So they've burned a shield. I'm going to get them pretty low, and then I can come in and just farm down. Yeah, so I will let this go. I think they're at back-to-back Night Slashes. I should, so this is a little bit of a misplay, I think, on my part. I should have come in Dunsparce here and just gone for the full farm down instead of taking the Night Slash on my Jumpluff and then coming in Dunsparce. I think 2 rollouts worth of energy would have been good here. But they actually have a Cress in the back. I don't think that was great timing unless they CMP tied there, which it looks like they might have. So that's big. We didn't let a Psychic cut through, but that also means we could have got an extra rollout. They just go for a Grass Knot. I was thinking maybe they'd go for the Moonblast or the Future Sight, so I wanted to shield at the first. Unfortunately, they do not. I tried to go for a catch on the Grass Knot. Unsuccessfully. They come back in with a Bastiodon. We're going to get off that Energy Ball. Please give us the Defense Fall. We do. This might actually make this possible. I'm committing to the fact that the Dunsparce is my win con, and we actually just barely get to another Energy Ball, so that is huge. A great no shield there. It doesn't mean they get the farm down, but we should still be able to outpace because we did have residual energy. And it looks like we're going for the CMP tie there, but they did not fall for it. We're obviously not going to be shielding anything from that Bastiodon. We are only going to be shielding from the Cress because the Cress's Future Sight would do a lot more damage. They might be on Moonblast because of the new season. Future Sight doesn't have a whole lot of play. Well, that's not true. There's a lot of poisons around. So, yep. So they actually do full send the Future Sight, and it looks like we're going to get the full farm down. This should only be a Grass Knot, which means we will have the Drill Run ready to go. We win CMP. Double super effective damage on the Bastiodon, and they live with 1 HP. This is the one loss we had. 24 wins, and that was our one loss. It was really, really, really close, but unfortunately we weren't able to squeak out that win. Not sure how much more I could have done that matchup other than maybe come in with the Dunsparce on the switch or come in Dunsparce to farm down the what's it called there? The Dunsparce. Oh my god, Greninja. Anyways, mirror leads. We run into an Acrobatics Jumpluff. They land it. That does a shitload of damage. And now they come in Licky Licky. So we don't have a great matchup here with Feraligatr. So we just match with Dunsparce because I believe Dunsparce does win in the ones. I'm not sure if Licky Licky picks up the win with a rollout advantage because I think that's what they did have. But they can only throw Body Slam here, assuming they're running the recommended moveset of Body Slam Shadow Ball. So we're just going to go straight Drill Run, and we should be able to pick up this win. I believe towards the end here, I do go for a Rock Slide to take it out, and that's just because yeah, I am concerned about a Jumpluff catch, and because we CMP tied there, it means we could have. We actually survived the Body Slam there, which is huge. We go for the Rock Slide. This was just in case. It's going to take out either way. It was just in case they try to catch on the Jumpluff. They come back in. We will outpace because they threw the Acrobatics, even though they got the farm down. But Aerial Ace does minimal damage. We're just going to have to let this go. They bait with the slightly cheaper Energy Ball. Not a great play considering that is double resisted on opposing Jumpluff. So now we're going to get off another Aerial Ace. And then they come in with Aurorus, which is a great matchup for us in the back. The only lose con here is if we no shield a Meteor Beam. And I don't think they're going to outpace to a Meteor Beam and a Weather Ball, so I'm going to shield either way here. They full send, which is their only option. I overfarm slightly, just so that I can pace to their Energy Ball at the exact same time. And we get the CMP tie with the Hydro Cannon, and I'm going to take this win. Into the next match, we've got Guzzlord. Pretty great lead with the Fairy Wind buff now. I believe I was concerned about a Sludge Bomb here because the new recommended moveset on Guzzlord, I believe, is Brutal Swing Sludge Bomb, so now they have coverage. They do farm up quite a bit. I actually believe this is not enough for a Sludge Bomb. I actually don't know the Sludge Bomb counts, so on Guzzlord. Um, so I actually shield that to be safe. Um, and then they farm up again, so it throws me off. So I'm just going to go for the Aerial Ace right away because I'm worried. And they actually just let that go, which means they went down with a bunch of energy there. Here I should not be staying in and taking these super effective poison things just to get off this energy ball. I should get into Dunsparce probably right away. Because I'm now imagining that they might have double ground on the back, dragon in the lead, weak to steals, and we've got a poison ground, which is good against fairy and steals in the back, so it could be. But they're actually just playing out this matchup. I'm fine with playing this out and then just getting farm on for Alligator if they take me out. They actually don't take me out there, which is crazy. Dunsparce does have some pretty decent bulk to it. And what is in the back, it's for Alligator, so we would actually have preferred to be the one that get the farm down there. But we come in Jumpluff just to force their energy. We no shield that, and that little bit of extra damage should let us go straight Hydro in this matchup, even if they got Crunch. We should be able to survive one Hydro because we're still in the green, whereas they are in the pretty deep yellow. Yep, so we just barely survived that. We're going to get off this Hydro Cannon, and they know that we're at too much energy, so they just let that go. Into the next match, we've got Golkurk, another great lead. They come in Dunsparce. I don't have an immediate answer for Dunsparce other than my own Dunsparce, so I do just chip here and then come in with my own Dunsparce just to match. It's kind of my only option here. I will say Dunsparce leads are probably the trickiest for this team because you kind of have to come in for Alligator. You do outpace to the first move if you come in immediately for Alligator, so that is an okay matchup because it is about 50% a Hydro Cannon to a Dunsparce, so yeah. But we will just play out this matchup. It looks like we are going to lose if they shield because they can CMP tie us if we shield here. We do anyways. I think that's a little bit questionable. Because they are going to be at no energy, but I think we just are going to force their energy here. We're going to take the loss and switch, and then maybe just come in Shadow for Alligator and get the double resisted Shadow Claw farm down. And that's okay because we get 3 Shadow Claws worth of energy, and they come back in with Golkurk, so they really don't have any good matchups with Golkurk into our team, which is great. And they shield that. I go for a Shadow Punch catch on my on my Jumpluff, and then they've got a Alolan Ninetails in the back running Powder Snow. First one I've seen all season, not great. But we actually get to an Energy Ball plus an Aerial Ace. So that's huge because this is going to put this in Shadow Claw farm down range. 1 Shadow Claw, so they can only get 1 move. The game works properly and lets me get that Shadow Claw, which is massive. They go for the Energy Ball, but that's not enough. And now we just outpace. They're still 3 away from the next Shadow Punch, so more than comfortable win there. And we take that win. Into next match, Machamp, another great lead for Jumpluff. They come in with Drifblim. We've got a absolute great matchup here in Dunsparce. They can either go for Icy Wind or Mystical Fire. Those are the only 2 moves that they can really throw at our Dunsparce here. We're going for a little bit of an overfarm. Rock Slide probably won't KO, especially after that debuff. And it doesn't. But we can still comfortably let this go. And we can go for the full rollout farm down, come out with a bunch of energy. Obviously our energy is debuffed here, but Machamp is so glassy that it may still threaten a shield if we get to 2 here. They let the first one go. That still does about like 35-40%. Get off another Drill Run. They can live this too, but they actually elect to shield because it would put them in Fairy Wind farm down range. And then they come in with their own Dunsparce. And this is obviously a matchup that's pretty neutral. We can let the first one go it will not threaten it to knock out, and we do need those shield. We need at least one shield for the Jumpluff because they're pretty close to a Stone Edge. But we will shield here, and then we're going to overfarm probably a little bit so we can threaten the Machamp and grab the last shield. And yep, and we make it to the back-to-back Hydras, so that is massive. They let it go. We get off the second Hydra Cannon here, and then we'll come in immediately with the Jumpluff, go for the Aerial Ace. They predict the switch, go for the Stone Edge, which is good for them, but we still have that shield, and they're not making it to 2 before we can get off this Aerial Ace. And that was another good win. And I believe this might be the last match, Clefable. So this is actually a tough matchup because they pace the exact same to their Moonblast, I believe, but they win CMP. So Moonblast does do about 50%. So we do have to just play out this matchup and either go for a catch on the second Moonblast or just go down and maybe come in with Feraligatr. But they actually don't even build up to a Moonblast. They just go for the Swift. So now we can overfarm just a little bit and go for that Energy Ball to take them out. That's a pretty big misplay on my opponent's part. They come in with Feraligatr. Looks like we're not quite going to make the Energy Ball. We're one Fairy Wind away. And the Shadow Claw actually didn't KO, so we could have gotten to the Energy Ball and threatened a KO there. But we're just going to come in our Dunsparce because it can soak up the energy just a little bit better, even though everything's resisted on Feraligatr. And then they come in with Claydol. Claydol's interesting. It's got a lot of moves. It's kind of got high energy, so it's a little bit slow to the moves, but with the Mudslap buff, it is pretty good. And it does have really cool coverage in like Ice Beam. So like in the Jumpluff matchup, it's not completely not in the picture. So, but we just have the pacing advantage here. We're gonna get off these Hydro Cannons. They actually double shield here. So I will shield, and I believe they're probably close to a move on there Feraligatr, so I will just get this off as soon as they come back in. And then I'll come in Dunsparce. And we should be able to survive one move here. It is the non-Shadow Feraligatr. We get the full farm down. We come out with a Drill Run. They do not have a move loaded. So we take that win. Oh, they live that. I forgot. Claydol is tanky. Do they have a move? They do not. We will win with 1 HP. 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move there. So yeah, that's the team. Absolutely incredible team. I actually used this team in a previous season, pretty much. I used Jumpluff, Dunsparce, Lantern. I think it was 2 seasons ago at Legend Elo. I believe I got to like 30, 80 something. This was obviously before the Fairy Wind buff, before the Rollout buff, before the Rock Slide nerf. And I believe it was also before either the Spark or the whole switch with that nerf there. But so now obviously just switching the new and improved Shadow Feraligatr, which does great into the matchups that Lantern did okay in as well. So yeah, the team, the core is really, really strong, and I believe it has play into virtually everything. It's not easily core broken. Obviously there are Pokemon like Abomasnow that maybe can be a little bit tough. You might want to check that fast move just to make sure they're on Powder Snow, which probably 99% are. Another core, the one and only actual core breaker for this team that I feel might give you trouble, which I haven't seen to date yet, is Miltank. And that is because Miltank has Rollout and Ice Beam for Jumpluff. It has a neutral matchup into Dunsparce with Stab Body Slams if it's running it, and it resists the Shadow Claws on Feraligatr while also having the potential for Thunderbolt coverage. So Miltank could be a core breaker for this team. I think we are going to see more Miltank as the season goes on because of that Bolt Beam coverage. The Ice and Electric is really, really hard to wall unless the only Pokemon that can wall it is the Magnezone family, and that is double weak to ground, and the amount of Mud Slappers are going to keep it out of the meta. So I think that coverage on Miltank is really strong, and it's something to look forward to maybe in a future video. But that is it from me. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace.